I only had a few minutes to make a decision. If I walked away, the tiny otter in front of me would almost certainly die, but if I took her home, I had no idea whether I was doing the right thing. I had never cared for a baby otter before. I didn't know what she should eat, how she would grow, or even whether she would survive her very first night. The only thing I knew was that she was lying there completely alone in the middle of the forest, and maybe I was her last chance. It all started during an ordinary walk through the woods. We heard faint little cries coming from the grass beside the trail. When we got closer, we found a tiny baby otter. She was so small, trembling, and barely able to move. We immediately stepped back because we knew her mother might still be nearby. We waited for a long time, hoping her mother would come back. But then a phone call changed everything. A friend told me they had found an adult otter dead near one of the main roads not far away. I couldn't be certain it was her mother, but something deep inside told me that if we kept waiting, this little otter wouldn't have another chance. So I brought her home and named her Leia. To be honest, I was both heartbroken and terrified. I had rescued many different kinds of animals before, but I had never raised a newborn otter. Every decision I made felt like a leap of faith. I could only hope I wasn't making a mistake. From the very first day, Leia became incredibly attached to me. She hated being alone. Whenever I sat down on the couch, she'd immediately climb up beside me. If I stood up, she'd waddle after me. Sometimes she'd even stick her little head into my coffee mug, curious to see what was inside. Before long, Leia started seeing me as her father. Whenever she felt scared or sleepy, I was the first one she'd come looking for. Some nights she'd curl up in my lap and fall asleep peacefully, as if simply hearing my heartbeat made her feel safe. I'll admit, there were times when I wanted to keep Leia with me forever, but I knew that wouldn't be fair to her. Otters belong in the wild, not in someone's living room. If Leia never learned how to live on her own, she would never survive in her natural home. So we started preparing her for life in the wild as early as possible. At first, it was just a small kiddie pool in the yard where she could learn to swim. Once she became more confident, I began taking her to the nearby lake so she could experience the real world. Thankfully, Leia didn't have to learn everything by herself. My two rescued otters, Tiger and Hogan, quickly accepted her. They swam with her, played with her, and taught her the things no human ever could. Within just a few weeks, the three of them were chasing each other around like brothers and sisters. Leia amazed me every single day. She was incredibly brave and endlessly curious. Whenever winter came and I shoveled snow, she'd jump right onto the shovel, rolling around in the snow as if she'd just discovered the greatest toy in the world. To Leia, every single day was another adventure waiting to happen. Time passed much faster than I expected. Leia was no longer the tiny baby otter I could hold in my hands. She had become a strong swimmer, a skilled hunter, and a confident young otter. I knew I had no reason to keep her with me anymore. It was finally time for her to return to where she truly belonged. The day Leia left, I stood by the lake for a long time. I was proud of the beautiful, independent animal she had become, but I couldn't deny that it felt like a part of my heart had gone with her. Anyone who has ever raised a life only to say goodbye will understand that feeling. For days afterward, I continued paddling my kayak across the lake, just as I always had. I never expected Leia to come back. Honestly, if she was happy and thriving in the wild, that was already the best ending I could have hoped for. But then one morning, I spotted a tiny little nose poking out of the water. Seconds later, Leia swam straight toward me, climbed onto my kayak, and slipped inside my jacket just like she used to when she was little. She played with my hand, looked at me with those familiar eyes, and then jumped back into the water to continue her own adventure. From that day on, almost every time I paddle my kayak across the lake, Leia comes to say hello. She doesn't come back because she needs someone to care for her anymore. She comes back because she remembers. And I think that's the greatest gift anyone who rescues animals could ever receive. Every animal, including Leia, has its own path in life, but one thing never changes: their love and their gratitude. They never forget the kindness you've shown them. In return, they give you their trust, their love, and make you part of their world. And honestly, isn't that one of the most beautiful things in life?